LeBron James has always wanted to face Dwyane Wade in the NBA playoffs, and although they play on the same team together, they've never gone head-to-head in an NBA playoff series matchup. That could change this year, given that the Cavs took a 2-0 series lead on the Hawks, and it could either be 2-1 or 3-0 to the Cavs. They play tonight. Likely, I think the Cavs finish that series in 4-5 games. We'll see what happens. On the other side of it, Toronto Raptors and the Miami Heat, deadlocked at 1 game apiece. They also play. Back in Miami. The series moves back there. But first, let's hear LeBron James's thoughts on facing Dwyane Wade in the NBA playoffs.
It'd be great to play against those guys in a postseason. But I've always, throughout my whole career, I've always wanted to go against Wade in a playoff series. I mean, that's just, we've always talked about it even before we became teammates in 10. So, I don't think it's not been heavy on my mind, but it's crossed my mind throughout my whole career.
It's not even a question. I don't mean any offense, Raptors fans. I'm even pulling for the Raptors in the series. No offense to you guys, but the storylines that would come out of a Cavs versus Heat matchup after everything that happened with LeBron James going and leaving, 2 championships, 4 straight finals appearances, and just the head-to-head of Wade and James, 2 greats, 2 of the best 10 players in the last decade, easily.
I was hoping for it. I mean, I've got a slight allegiance towards the Heat. People always asking me why. I actually got a Twitter response because I clawed at anything I could to draw me into basketball. I do like the Celtics because their name's Celtic, but it was one of the first games I seen. It was a Miami Heat game, so it was in the Shaq era, I believe. So I'm a fan of them.
And I just kind of drove.
Yeah, and this was before everyone jumped on the LeBron bandwagon. Trust me, I was there beforehand,
Yes.
and I'll remain thereafter. Either way, I would love to see it happen. I love the resurgence of Dwyane Wade. I love the coaching, by the way, of Spo this season to limit Dwyane Wade and not allow him just to run riot the way we seen with Kobe in the Lakers, which was fine because they were never going to make the playoffs anyway, and he was just there as a retirement home, blah, blah, blah. Nice. Dwyane Wade was actually effective and was used to the best of his ability. He seems to be playing more minutes than I still think he should, but I think that they're getting the reward of it. Mm-hmm. He was clutch again last night in that step-back 3 you showed me. We watched it back this morning, and they were close to taking a 2-game lead over a team which, in seeding terms, even though I don't care what seeding means at this point or what the regular season means when it comes to this, they shouldn't be keeping up with them this much. But the Heat have proved again that they have added certain pieces to assist them to recover from LeBron James's parting ways, and they haven't recovered fully unless if they can prove that they can make to the final without him. I do like that they're able to draw from the bench as well when they don't have star players like Hassan Whiteside performing as consistently or out. And I think that Dwyane Wade, even though the weight of the world is on his shoulders, is handling it in the most Dwyane Wade fashion. Humble, taking shots that he knows he's got a bigger chance of going in, and he's just playing good basketball for the Miami Heat, and I'm happy to see him play. Everyone just wants to see LeBron James go back to the team that he left to go home, and just to see how it will pan out, because it would be a remarkable story, Cinderella-esque, not Leicester-esque, but Cinderella-esque, if Miami Heat were able to pull one up.
Anybody not named the Cavs in the finals is Cinderella-esque. If in the Eastern Conference, it's true though. Every time Dwyane Wade makes a shot, his cheekbones get bigger. It's a fact. You know that? You ever realize he's got like the big face?
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
he's on great-looking wife as well.
He's on the NBA all-good-looking team.
No doubt.
Gordon Hayward and DeMarcus Cousins.
JJ Redick.
JJ Redick's on that team too. All right, so.
The only Clippers player on a good. I'm joking.
we want. Obviously, the storylines would be great for Cavs versus Heat. And by the way, doesn't matter who it is. The Cavs go to the finals at minimum. I should say maximum.
But it's just a question of it maybe being happening.
Just the reception to see from LeBron James back in Miami. Which, by the way, the Miami Heat fans, they have to. Any of you boo that man. Come on. If the series happens. It's not fair to him. He came for 4 years. He got you to 4 straight finals.
I know.
I know how successful Pat Riley is with the Miami Heat. I know that Dwyane Wade and Shaq won you a championship before LeBron James was there. I get that. But you cheer the guy. Because I know he left you, but he left you after 4 straight finals appearances and 2 championships. He did pretty damn well. You could cheer Ray Allen a little bit harder if he's in the building, though, because he bailed you out for one of them. All right, off to the Raptors, because Dwayne Casey is, let's see, for lack of better words, he is Jacques Vaughn-esque in his coaching. I don't blame necessarily the Raptors' backcourt, but what I'm going to go with here is that Dwayne Casey has a system in place that has made the Raptors' backcourt the worst shooting backcourt possible, period. DeMar DeRozan does not deserve a max contract. He is literally shot himself out of getting one, I think. Granted, somebody's going to shell out a lot of money for a player who is going to become J.R. Smith, and everyone knows that J.R. Smith, in a great system playing with a LeBron James, of course you can maximize that potential. Put him anywhere else, and he's going to shoot 30% from the field. Kyle Lowry, on the other hand, I was this close. I was this close to losing my mind, because time and time again, I have done clips about Kyle Lowry being beyond overrated, right? And how he's not an elite point guard in this league. First of all, look at the defensive matchup he has against him. It ain't Mike Conley. It's not Chris Paul. You're against Goran Dragic, and then when there's a pick and roll, sometimes Hassan Whiteside inches towards you. Inches. And he's one of the worst defenders outside of blocks. So look at the on-court, off-court plus minus. It's overwhelmingly in favor of Hassan Whiteside being only an offensive talent, minus the block shot stat, which any smart player works around that. But Kyle Lowry is shooting, right now, the worst NBA playoff shooting percentage in the last 30 years. And I know, right, because I get it. The 2 clutch shots, they were beautiful shots. You deserve all the credit. The reason you were back in that game, the reason you were able to get to overtime was because of Kyle Lowry. But come on, man. You're bricking open shots all game long. The team is getting you open. You're the guy who's supposed to be taking the shot. DeMar DeRozan's shot selection is mind-bogglingly bad. But they go to overtime. Usually Dwayne Casey has no overtimes. Usually Dwayne Casey has no timeouts. I don't know what he thinks he does with them, but he basically burns all of them in the third quarter. In this Game 2 situation, he actually found a way. He was like, wait, what's a crazy idea? If I save my timeouts, if I save them, then maybe my players can get a little bit of rest or I can draw up a play. Oh, my God, like any championship coach has ever thought of that before. My roommate was joking me, saying that he thinks that the timeouts roll over from game to game, so you can just pocket them. Oh, look, we got 35 timeouts for Game 4. We're fine.
All right, you still breathing? It's good. It was a good one. But regardless of what you think of him, Dwayne Casey was right when he had this to say. Our guys should take offense to that.
Yeah, I agree with Dwayne Casey. I think his mind should be just only focused on beating the Heat. Of course, their guys should take offense to that. Their guys, and Dwayne Casey should take offense to the fact that they're shooting 30% from the field. I guess the last point I make is DeMar Carroll, someone I ripped last year for getting a max contract with the Toronto Raptors. So he signed for way, way too much money. But you know what? The playoffs come around and he plays really freaking great basketball. He was great on the defensive end in that game, and he was a source of points for them when they need it. So, you know, just imagine for a second, Raptors fans, if DeRozan and Lowry get their shit together and don't do this Game 1 and 2, we play like crap. Game 3 and 4, we decide to play. You guys would be in a dominant position to really make a run at a better team like the Cavaliers. But as long as the inconsistency is there, higher IQ players are going to take advantage of that, and you're going to lose a lot of playoff series. Like, favorite, subscribe to the video, at Francis_Maxwell, at JasonRuber91, at TYT Sports on Twitter. We're on Watchable. We're also on Facebook.com/TYT Sports. We'll see you over there.